Now we know that this is even worse than we thought. There are now 8 people who are confirmed killed in this active shooter situation, and we know that the gunman was a VTA employee himself, so he knew the people that he killed because he worked with them. This happened around 6:30 this morning. We were here shortly after it happened as the perimeter was being set up. It is a wide perimeter, but just as fast as we were here, the Sheriff's Department was here even faster because they are right next door to this light rail yard where this mass shooting happened. We know that there was a very swift response. San Jose Police Department just down the block as well, so they were here very quickly as well. We know that there was a rescue of some of the employees and that some of the employees were transported out of the scene to the hospital. We know at least one person died at the hospital and not here at the scene. There is a family reunification center, so for people who are trying to find information about their loved ones, that is set up there as well. And we are learning more information about the suspected gunman as well. And we have a bit of sound with the mayor, who talked earlier about this being a very dark day for San Jose. He said it wasn't a time to talk about policy, but that there has been something in the works to prevent a tragedy from like this from happening again. You were the first one to confirm that there were fatalities, that people died in this attack. The Department of Homeland Security is now confirming that there were 7 people. Did you know that? And what do you want to say to those families?
Yes, this is an incredibly painful moment for our city. And we certainly hope that there are no more than that. Know that there are several victims who are still undergoing treatment. So we are going to continue to pray for the recovery of those who've been wounded. And we're going to do everything we can to support the families and loved ones. And there are many who loved the workers we lost here. There are a lot of co-workers who lost their best friends. So we're going to need to do everything we can to pull together as a community, just as we have through this pandemic.
The general manager of the VTA did talk about the VTA being a family and that really everybody who works together knows each other. And if that is the case, then the people who were in this active shooter situation, they knew who the person was who was holding that gun. We have confirmed that person's identity. We know that there is an investigation happening at that person's house. We also now know that there are explosive devices that the bomb sniffing dogs alerted authorities to. So they are looking at that. That is happening just at the VTA building in the yard right behind us. When we asked whether or not there was concern about possible explosive devices at the suspect's home, the answer was that is part of the investigation. We asked, perhaps most importantly, is there still an imminent threat to the public? And at this point, the answer is no. The gunman is now dead. And as far as those explosive devices go, the Sheriff's Department spokesman said that people are safe. Our hearts go out to the families who have lost loved ones in this tragedy. San Jose is my community too. It is a very big city, but it has definitely a small town feel, and a lot of people are going to be feeling this loss.
Yes, a dark day, as San Jose Mayor Liccardo said, a dark day for the city of San Jose. And as Kris Sanchez just mentioned, the suspect's home about 10 miles away on Angmar Court. That's where Samuel Cassidy lives, and that's where we can find Bob Redell. Bob, what's going on there at the home?
Well, as Kris was mentioning, they're not sure if there's explosive devices inside his home. So there's an FBI bomb tech out here, as well as the San Jose bomb squad, and 2 bomb techs. Within the past 20 minutes, they suited up and they went into the house. It's the 3rd house on the left. It's the one with the garage door that's open, and it's got the bushes there and the black car in front. So that house actually caught fire around 6:30 this morning. Law enforcement is investigating whether this started before the shooting. The idea being, did the suspects start the fire and then go to the VTA maintenance yard? I did speak with the San Jose fire captain. He says this fire is definitely suspicious. They found a gas can inside, as well as they smelled gasoline, and they also found several hundred rounds of ammunition. He said hundreds of rounds of ammunition spread throughout the house. The interior, he said, is destroyed, even though from the outside the house still looks intact. But again, that fire starting around 6:30 this morning, and yes, we have confirmed that this house, the deed is has Samuel Cassidy's name on it, so that this is the suspect's home. We did try to speak with neighbors this morning. No one would talk. One did speak to my colleague Damian Trujillo off camera, and all they could tell us is that they were shocked. So we didn't have any information about anyone who knew the man who lived here in this home. So again, 2 bomb techs have gone into this house here where there was a suspicious fire this morning to clear the house of any possible explosive devices. not confirmed that they're inside, but given the fact that they're concerned about explosive devices at the VTA maintenance facility, they have the same concerns here. Reporting live here in South San Jose, Bob Redell, NBC Bay Area News.
Okay, thank you, Bob. To bring you up to date, there are at least 2 crime scenes now. We have the one where Bob is at, where the suspect lives, Samuel Cassidy. There's an investigation going on. And at the VTA maintenance yard, where a shooting massacre occurred this morning just after 6:30 a.m. 8 people, 8 victims are dead. The suspect is also dead, and at this time, we believe he may have killed himself, but police say it's still an active investigation, and they're not releasing any details on that.
And of course, this situation is touching so many people, including the family members of those who worked at VTA, and that's where we find Robert Handa right now, because, Robert, you're at the location where they're actually telling family members to go if they want information about their loved ones.
That's right, and as you can imagine from some of the people that we've talked to, it's gotten a little bit tense now because some of the information that we're reporting on in terms of the ammunition found at the worker's house, as well as the fact that he was shot and killed, has created a lot of tension here. But it is considerably more calm here than it was before. In fact, most of the activity now is still going on inside the Santa Clara County Government Center, which is now that reunification center where workers can come to see their families. Now, as we reported, workers from the building where the shooting took place were escorted here by sheriff's deputies. The group was under tight security and rushed inside, so we couldn't really do any on-camera interviews, but a couple of employees told me that now they feel safe. And one family member told me he had a frantic message from his wife saying that she had heard that there was a shooting going on, and she actually dropped her phone as she ran for safety. We also talked to the local councilman, Raul Perales, who was here. He knew somebody that was in the building, and he was told at the time that he was a possible victim, and this is what he had to say at the time that he arrived here.
Do you know any of the victims?
I have a close friend, that's actually personally why I'm here, that works here, and I know he was in that meeting, been in contact with his family, and that's why I came here to try to see what info I could find, but unfortunately they're only communicating with family members and loved ones. So yeah, this is extremely close to home today.
Have you heard, though, whether he was actually shot?
I haven't heard any info yet.
What's your feeling about what's going on here today and what this means, big picture and small picture and big picture?
Tragic, extremely tragic. And, I mean, any time this happens, no matter where it's at, whether it's here in your hometown or anywhere across the country, these are tragic incidents. Our thoughts and prayers are with all the loved ones and certainly with those.
Now, we certainly echo those sentiments, and we are hearing that right now most of the family members are being told information, but mostly specifically about their personal family members. They have heard very little about some of the information that we've been reporting on. One of the things that one of the workers told me was that there was a union meeting going on inside the building at the time that the shooting started, and we don't know if that had anything to do with what happened, but it does explain maybe why there was such a large gathering in a building where you don't usually see a large group of people all gathered at the same time. We will give you more details as we hear from them. People are starting to trickle out a little bit, and we hope to have more information on what the families are being told. Live in San Jose, Robert Handa, NBC Bay Area News.
All right, Robert, thank you. Now, the closest trauma center to that location is Valley Medical. That's where we find Bob Redell, or Scott Budman, I'm sorry. That's Scott Budman is this midday. And Scott, so I know some of the people were taken there once authorities arrived to the scene.
Yeah, they were, and it's because, like you said, Marcus, that VMC Valley Medical Center is the closest trauma center to where all this happened. We are told that 2 victims were brought here earlier today. 1 dead on arrival, 1 currently in critical condition, just checked with the hospital, and that patient is indeed still in critical condition. Here is what an official from Valley Medical told us earlier this morning.
Earlier, Santa Clara Valley Medical Center received 2 patients. 1 was deceased upon arrival, and the other is in critical condition. We aren't expecting any other patients from this shooting event.
And yet they are still on standby just in case, but again, they're not expecting any other patients. As far as other local hospitals, we have not heard as far as other patients. The one I did hear from was Stanford Medical Center. They tell me they have not had anyone from the VTA event brought to Stanford Medical Center. Again, here at VMC, 2 patients were brought, 1 dead on arrival, 1 is still, as of now, in critical condition. Live here at VMC, Scott Budman, NBC Bay Area News.
Okay, Scott.